What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Survivor Now podcast. And today I have another incredible guest joining me. I am joined by Rachel, otherwise known as Rach, the third castaway eliminated from Survivor UK. I like to say, what would that be? That'd be like the 15th, 16th runner-up. I like to say it that way instead. But
That's a
Rach,
better way.
yeah, it makes it sound much more positive. So, Rach, how are we doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Had a good weekend. I was quite nervous for seeing the episode on Saturday. But turns out, um, personally for me, it was fine. Not the ending, but the rest of it was fine.
Well, that was going to be my first question. I was going to say, you're looking amazing after what had to be a difficult episode to watch back. Um, did you have a huge family gathering to watch your elimination episode? Walk us through that night, because you got to experience Survivor itself. It's a whole different experience experiencing it, watching it back with your loved ones and seeing that elimination play out.
Yeah, so the first weekend I watched it with my family and my boyfriend, but just this Saturday past my elimination episode, I actually watched it with my two friends, Mirren and Ryan. And I think I was so glad to be with them because I feel like if I was with my family watching the episode, I feel like they wouldn't know what to say. They'll just be like, "Oh, like it's fine." Like they'll be very biased about it. Whereas I actually had so much fun watching it with Mirren and Ryan. It is it's very emotional and it is quite triggering. It brings back all that emotion that you felt. And it makes you think like, oh, like if I hadn't done this, maybe that would have happened. So it's obviously not a nice feeling. It stings, but you've just got to take it with a pinch of salt and get on with it.
Give us a little behind the scenes. Did the tears go? Did you have a little tears happening watching it back?
I didn't cry at my elimination. I cried when Ash was having a confession and she'd said, she was like, "Oh, Rachel's like my best friend in here." And I just thought, oh my God. Min and Ryan were looking at me being like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I'm just so happy that she didn't hate me.
Oh,
Because
so they
when you're in
got
the
you just in a
game,
different way.
yeah, they got me in a different way. And I think like when you're in there, you obviously like you believe that you have friendships, but I can honestly say like Ash is amazing. She's so lovely. And it's so nice to see that there was nothing negative said about me behind like from her perspective, if that makes sense. Because I
Mhm.
know how difficult it was for me to have to write her name down. And I think it doesn't look like I am that upset about it. I'm like, I am really sad. And it looks quite sarcastic, but I promise it's not. I genuinely was really, really sad to write her name down. And I know that she was as well. And that's why I would have done, like, I did do this exact same as her. So you can't have the bad blood. Do you know what I mean? So,
Oh, yeah, and it's difficult to look back. People don't think about it like this, but just Survivor being a game of deception, you don't really know who your friends are. So it's got to be tough watching
yeah,
back and being like, wow, I didn't know that person felt that way. So having that genuine bond with Ashley had to be something incredible to see. I just
yeah.
want to know, how did that friendship get started out on the island? Because we really saw that blossom in episode 3, both you and her struggling with the fact we have to vote for one another because that's where the votes are going to be heading here.
Yeah.
So how did that relationship get started, and how close are you guys both on the island and now?
So I think it all started with us, I don't know, being kind of your typical blonde girls, some may say. Because I know we kind of did get referred to as the blondies.
Mm.
Um, which I personally like, I didn't want that narrative coming into the game. And I think most people, especially when the cast had been revealed, it was like, oh, like I wonder if she's just going to be like another dumb blonde or whatever. And I'm glad it didn't come across that way. I am very smart. I'm quite switched on. And I would have loved to play the game longer. But it just didn't work out that way. But I think we just kind of our friendship kind of grew just from kind of spending time together, like doing different things. Yeah, just being that kind of emotional support for each other as well. So yeah.
I feel like you have to have that like best friend type on the island to just kind of
Oh yeah, definitely.
help with the difficult. And I don't even know how difficult it is out there. I've never gone out there myself, but it just having the understanding of everything you guys go through, you have to have that like best friend by your side. It really helps out. On the flip side of that, I got to speak with Sabs last week and your name got brought up and she said she absolutely loves you.
Oh,
But
I love Sabs.
yeah, she was like, trust me, there's no bad blood. Rach is
No.
amazing, but I have to bring it up that as a podcast, I got to bring up the big moments. And early
No,
on in
that's
the
fine.
game, you were very big on Sabs needs to go, or if we go to tribal council, Sabs is who I want to go. So how did Sabs get brought up to you? Why did you believe Sabs needed to be eliminated? And then on a more positive note, how are you guys now? Because she says everything, water under the bridge, it was just the game.
Yeah. So I think in episode 1, you see me when we're holding with the weights. And I think when you're in that moment, you just like you need to concentrate. And it's almost like I didn't even remember saying that. I was like, oh, shut up, Sabs. And see the way I say it, like when I'm saying, like, say I'm speaking to like my friends and I'm like being really sarcastic, I'm like, oh, shut up. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think it came across really negative, especially the way it was edited. Um, and when I was obviously doing my confessions, it just looked like I was like Sabs, Sabs, Sabs. Sabs needs
It
to
did.
go,
The
and it
way they
definitely
painted
wasn't
it.
the case. I
The
didn't
way
even
they
bring her
painted
up.
it was like the way the show painted it in the edit. It was like Rach is out to get Sabs. Like this is all she wants in this game is to get Sabs
I
out.
know.
But you guys were genuinely like on the island cool and everything. That's just how the edit
Oh
came
yeah,
across.
I honestly like I describe Sabs as like my camp mom. When I got my fly in my eye, when I get the fly in my eye, sorry, she was she was getting that out. She was like, "Come here," like had the buff off the head, was like,
Oh,
you know, sorting it all out. So no, I love Sabs and the woman. She has a heart of gold. And what I said to her was like, she should never feel that she needs to be less enthusiastic just from me being like, oh, shut up. She should be as enthusiastic as
Sabs,
she
do
wants.
you? Do you, Sab? Yeah,
Yeah, girls do.
that is so good to hear. Back on like the big game side of things, we got to talk about that challenge. You got to compete in one of my favorite classic Survivor challenges, where it's like a relay race, and it's the first tribe to catch up to the other. And Lanina had a very interesting strategy going into this. And that was people drop out early, less people carrying more weights, but it's less people you have to worry about dragging you down. Walk us through that challenge. First off, how difficult is that? Because it looks exhausting. And secondly, how the strategy and everything played out.
So, firstly, firstly, we all knew we got the strategy wrong. And I think from what you see on the show, it's very clear with how the strategy was planned and possibly who came up with it. But and I got blamed for it. Rachel was out. They were like, "Oh, Rach came out.
That was a big,
She,
yeah.
she's a PT. Like she should be able to do this." And this is what I've said. Like I was saying to my mum, I didn't realize with being a PT under my job role is you must run around water with a weighted bag. Blah blah blah.
That's the thing.
Okay.
I feel like if you're a physical trainer or something like anything to do with the gym or you work out a lot, it's just assumed that you do everything. You run, you lift,
Yeah.
it's like it's not like that. I'm
They
someone
automatically just have that persona about you,
I
and
hate
I'm not gonna
lifting
lie.
and I love running. That's the thing that
Oh,
I
complete
run all the
opposite.
time. I hate lifting weights, but I love running. So it's just I felt for you throughout the episode. I was like, man, why is Rach getting the kind of bunt of this challenge when you weren't even close to being the first one that dropped out? I can't remember. You were like, I think there was 5 people left when you dropped out.
Yeah, so there was Chris, Doug, Lee, and Hannah, and I knew Hannah would go longer than what I did because
Mhm.
she's a semi-pro footballer. Like she
She's got
runs
that
for a
cardio.
living.
Yeah, she's got the cardio in her.
I know, and like when I do cardio, it's not running. Who runs for fun? Not me.
That's me. Now I feel terrible.
Sure.
I run for fun. This led to interesting dynamics heading into your tribal council. This is something we've seen a lot this season, honestly, from both camps, and that is keeping the tribe strong. That's the most important thing. We got to win these challenges. And a big talking point this episode was, the men versus the women. I want to try to keep this on a positive note and say, going into your tribal council, did you believe that there was anything you guys could do, the women and Rin? Was there anything you guys could do to kind of save you heading into tribal?
I honestly do think that there had been chats that had been kind of had. But I honestly do think that there was, I don't know whether it's me just being biased towards myself, that there was maybe like a misline of communication. Because I was really shocked. I thought that both Peg and Lee had voted for me. So I don't know whether they maybe flipped the vote or whatever, but yeah, it kind of makes us look like all us Brits can't play Survivor when when I do actually think that we all can. It just, I don't know.
It's something that happens. It happens a lot in the show. It's an easy thing to, like, one, you gravitate towards people you understand more. And I believe women understand the women more. Men can understand men more. So it's something we do see a lot. But it did end up being a very close tribal council. And it was one of the most entertaining ones of the season. It was a close vote. So as Joel is reading the votes, did you have a thought in your mind, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not going home, until that final vote was read?
Yeah, I was hoping. I was so gutted to go. And it's almost like when you're sitting there, it's like you've got a sense of false hope. It's like I'm not going home, I'm not going home. And then when that last vote was read, and when I went to pick up my torch, I just thought to myself, that's fine. I get to sleep in a good bed tonight. Well, you lot are slept on bamboo.
That's the right way to think about it. You probably had the best sleep of your life that night.
Oh, see the time difference. Was
No?
not the one. No, I slept awful. I didn't actually sleep that well until like a few weeks after I got home because I was still messed up with the time difference. Jet lag at its finest.
Actually, I think I've heard about this before. You think it would be the best sleep, but I think someone said when they got eliminated one time, they just they couldn't adjust to the bed. It was like they were sleeping on the floor because you have that change.
Yeah, well, when I got out, I had bruises. My legs were covered in bruises. And from the top of my shoulder, because I sleep on my side, so the top of my shoulder all the way down to my elbow and kind of round here was covered like this massive bruise. And when I got home, Michael was like, "What have you been doing?" I was like, "Sleeping."
Yeah, this is just from sleeping. I mean,
Yeah.
how prepared were you going out there to compete on Survivor? How outdoorsy are you? Like, how difficult was it to actually live out there in the elements?
So I coped with it a lot better than what I thought I would. Like, I don't really like creepy crawlies. I was really excited to sleep outside. I love being in outdoors, but obviously not as intense as that. um, but no, I really enjoyed it. And my favorite part was just kind of like seeing the stars. It is beautiful. So it was nice, like when we would all kind of lie down at night. This is when we were winning challenges and weren't stabbing each other in the backs. That
was my
so
next
nice.
question. That's where we're going.
Yeah. We would all just lie there and just kind of chat amongst ourselves. It was very cute. It was wholesome.
Well, I was going to say you guys had an incredible start to your Survivor journey because of the fact that Lenina was winning super early on. I just want to get your side of things. Where did it flip? Because when I was covering the first couple episodes, I'm like, Lenina looks super strong. They're going to win every challenge. And then Lenina went on a bit of a losing streak. Why do you think kind of everything changed? Was it momentum that Calaton was getting? Or was it Lenina, just the communication wasn't there anymore? What changed between the two tribes, do you believe?
I think it was the second immunity challenge. Again, we just didn't get our strategy right.
Mhm.
And I think if we'd just been that wee bit kind of maybe faster, getting back, even me and Sabs coming back sooner, I do think that we would have won that.
How difficult were those knots, Rach?
I'm not kidding. We couldn't. Me and Sabs just could not get that pushed down. And they were like, "Oh, like you're a weak swimmer." I know I'm a strong swimmer. The swimming
Yeah,
wasn't the issue.
it
It
was the
was the
knot.
knot. And when Sabs had said, "Oh, she's like a singer," because I am. I studied music at uni, and it
Mhm.
was vocal performance that I studied. And I was just so confused. I was like, I was fine with holding my breath. It was the knot. I couldn't undo it because we weren't pushing the box down far enough.
Oh my God. I mean, I was feeling it for you guys. I do feel like if I go out there, the knots is going to be, those knots look tight. So I was not,
Yeah.
I'm like, they gave it their best shot. I do have to bring up the fact that Ren went to the outposts in your episode, brought back a small fish, pretty much told you guys everything that was happening, obviously, besides the note to the idol. What was your reaction when Ren brought the fish back? Was it just, oh my gosh, fish we're gonna eat? Were you thinking there might have been something else? What was kind of the rumblings around camp?
My immediate thought was suspicious.
Mm.
And I think from you obviously know from watching the show, like things are going to happen. And I think it was when she'd mentioned the bag of rice. I was like, we already have rice, so why would they give us
What?
more?
Mm.
And then later on, like it would have been like kind of about, don't know the timings, but like a short while later, they then said, "Oh, there was actually a baked potato with an idol clue," and I thought, hmm, something does not sit right.
Did you I do have to ask, did you ever think to look, because obviously you watched some Survivor going out there. Did you ever go out, look for an idol yourself, try to find an idol?
Yes. So the night that I left, I spent a good while looking for an idol because I knew that my name was potentially on that chopping block. So I went out looking, and I think, see, me, Ash, and I think Ren, they came with us as well. So it was almost like we were all looking.
Mhm.
Um, Other people were looking as well. But I think if I had just spent possibly like 2, 3 minutes less, I maybe would have had longer time because I think people maybe had a wee conversation behind my back.
And I'll
Mm.
let everyone listening to this, I'll let you decipher that. Rach, the last question that we always like to ask here on the Survivor Now podcast is, as a whole, what are you taking away from this experience? I'm trying to remember. You were out there, was it 8 days, 8, 9 days?
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I was just
I
gonna say about a week and a half. So what are you taking
yeah,
away from the experience as a whole?
honestly, I know that I give myself a lot of credit now because I think I said this in my kind of interview a few weeks ago that if someone had said to me like last year or even at the start of the year before I'd watched Survivor, like you'll go and do this, I would have been like, okay. But like I I'm so capable of so much more than what I think I am. Um it's a life-changing experience. And I think if I was ever asked to do it again, if they ever wanted me back, I would be going. And you never know, we could maybe even seek revenge. Hmm.
I like it. Second,
Revenge!
se-
Revenge is sweet.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And Rachel, are you a fan of the show? Because that's the next question I was going to ask: is would you ever play again? And you just gave us the answer.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, we need to see that. We need to see the redemption story, the revenge story.
We
Well,
do. We do.
Rach,
Get
thank
me
you.
back.
Yes, please. Hashtag get Rach back. This time, though, it's you actually go by Rachel, right? It was just to help with the show.
So my real name is Rachel, yeah, but obviously just for kind of easiness on the show, it was easier to have a Rachel and a Rach. And I don't mind. I quite like being called Rach. My friends and family call me Rach, so I love
Well, now you're going to be the Rach of Survivor
Exactly.
UK. Well, Rach, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come
No,
speak with
thank
me.
you.
So sad to see you go. You were one of the
I
people I thought was
know.
going to go super far in the game, but I'm excited
Me too.
just just the thought of the revenge story. But thank you so much for joining again, and I hope we can chat again soon.
Yes, thank you so much.